So we're going to start on hands and knees. So because we only have 45 minutes, it kind of goes really quickly and I lose track of the time. So we're just going to start straight away on hands and knees today in 4-point kneel. And let's just begin with a little bit of cat-cow, because most of us have probably all just gotten out of bed, hopefully. And then we'll inhale to pull the chest forward and then exhale to round the spine. So again, it's an inhale to elongate, and I like to feel the heel of the hands drag back to the knees in this shape. And then as you round the spine, press through tops of feet, shins and palms. And just do 2 more like that. And it's really just an opportunity to unkink the spine, to get some heat into the spine, but to also sink in with your breath. So inhale through nose, and then exhale through the nose. Okay. And then you're going to turn your left fingertips so that they point towards your left knee. So left fingertips to left knee, and extend the right toes to the back of the yoga mat. And you're going to start to rock back so you feel calf stretch in the right, and then lean forward a little bit so you come off the toes and off the wrist. So as you rock back, you get a good stretch through forearm and calf, and then rock forward. And you're just going to rock back, forwards, back, forwards, and just be gentle. If the wrists are tight from computer work or just not moving them in this way, just be sensitive to that feeling. And you're also kind of opening up through the toes of the right foot. And then we'll release that and then shake out the left wrist. Swap sides, right fingertips turn to right knee, so the thumb is out, left toes back, and then again, just start your rocks gently forward, gently back. And also as you do this, maintain the length through the spine. So crown of the head pushes to sky, so chin clips to throat, neck long. Ribs draw into front body so that the front body is contained rather than collapsing. So we engage through the core. And we'll just do 2 more. Okay. And then release the knee to the floor, shake out the right wrist. So this is where you could have something to squeeze between your legs, but also no worries if you don't. If you do, you can take a block or a book between the legs, or even a pillow or a chi ball. And then we're going to charge up the cat-cow. So if you don't have the prop, no worries. Tuck the toes and hover the knees off the floor without the prop. Yeah, so you're in this 4-point kneel hover. And then cat-cow from here. So it's an inhale, chest forward, and then exhale to round the spine. So the knees don't move, yeah? You're trying to isolate the spinal movement, keeping the knees still. So this is going to work some heat into the legs, the core. You can feel it. I don't need to tell you what is happening. You can feel it in your body. Good, last one. And then from this shape, we'll push up and back, downward facing dog. You might walk the hands slightly further forward to lengthen the stance. And bend the knees in down dog first thing, so you can allow pelvis to pull up and back. Push the arms down and forward. And then I like to think of hugging the thumbs together so the biceps start to wrap towards the ears. And that just helps to kind of get the shoulder blades to widen on the back. We're going to ripple the spine. So we're going to keep this rippling movement. So come high to toes, legs straight, and then look at your belly button as you round the spine to come all the way forward to high plank. And as you arrive in plank, pull the chest forward, drag the hands back, and then bend your knees like that 4-point hover to push the chest back to the legs, pelvis to ceiling, and then downward dog, straighten out through arms and legs. So come forward, straight legs, look at the belly button as you roll forward, round the back. Find plank, chest pulls forward, bend the knees, keep the chest forward as you ripple the spine and lift the hips back up. 2 more, your breath, inhale, forward, round the spine, push the floor away. Spine lengthens forward as the hips drag back. Imagine there's a string pulling the chest forward and a string pulling the pelvis up and back. One more, forward high plank. Whole length of the breath in. And then take the whole exhale to move the spine up and back. We'll pause there, just 2 more breaths in your down dog. Start to center the gaze on one point. And the idea of centering the gaze in your practice is so that we don't lose energy by darting the eyes around to unnecessary objects and things. So it gives us this single pointed focus, this ability to center and then draw the focus more deeply into the body. So notice breath and sensation, muscles. And then slowly lower your knees to the floor. If you had a prop between the legs, get rid of the prop. And then we're going to come into dolphin. So elbows to ground underneath shoulders, wrists get a break, interlace the fingers together, and then start by pushing down and forward through the forearms and elbows. Tuck your toes and then lift the hips back up. It's like a down dog, but on the elbows, dolphin pose. And then the head is off the floor. So push forward and down to lift up under the armpits. Soft bend in the knees again so the pelvis can lift up high. And then just notice what is happening through the front body. Draw the front ribs back in towards the spine. So we find a little more containment here and we engage the core. We'll stay here in dolphin. You're welcome to bend the knees or even pedal out through the heels, open through the backs of the calves. And then look forward at your thumbs, walk your legs back to lower the pelvis in line with the shoulders, forearm plank. Heel, press back, elbows dig down, and again, pull the elbows back, lengthen the chest forward to the thumbs. One more breath, legs and thighs are strong. Yes, well done. And then lower the pelvis to the ground, stay up on the forearms for Sphinx. So the elbows can come a little forward in front of the chest. Pick up the legs one at a time and just point the toes so the thigh pulls out away from the hip and then anchor through the legs. We're going to do a cat-cow movement here in Sphinx. So chest forward on the inhale, like all fours, drag the elbows back to lengthen the spine. And then look at the navel as you press down and forward through the arms, scoop through the chest, and almost see if you can lift the hip bones and the pubic bone off the ground. And then lower the pubic bone down, forward, lift the chest, breath in. Exhale, push, look for the belly button, scoop, and then round through your upper back. So you broaden across the back. Last one, inhale forward to Sphinx. And exhale to round. Come forward to Sphinx. Lift the elbows, slide the hands back either side of the ribs, and then cobra pose. So we push a little bit to lift the chest higher, and then pull the spine further forward to lower back to the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, either push up to knees or plank, and then downward facing dog, hips high. Okay. 2 long, steady breaths here. Okay, and then legs together in downward facing dog. Lift high up onto the toes. Right leg lifts up and back, 3-legged dog. So push through the ball of the foot. Inner thigh wraps to the sky. And then you're going to clamp your right heel towards your glute. Oh, I lost my little ear. Clamp your right heel towards your glute, and then we're going to circle the knee down to kiss the inner left knee, open right knee to right side of the room, and then circle it back up to the sky. So it comes forward, even into belly button, out to the side and back up. And as you're doing this, I want you to keep squeezing your right heel to your pelvis, to your glute. So we work the hamstring and the glute. So you're getting these big, juicy circles, and then go the opposite direction, open to the side, in and back. And last one, three-legged down dog. Straighten the right leg, push through the arms, and then squeeze the right knee outside your right elbow. So pull it high and in. Let's go back to three-legged dog. Breath in. Knee outside the right elbow. Squeeze the inner thigh to the arm. One more, three-legged dog. Breath in. Knee outside the right arm, hold it there, and then step your right foot outside your right hand. So you might need to rearrange the feet and the hands a little bit. We're in lizard lunge. I want you to circle the pelvis here. So again, we're getting a lot into the hips. So I want you to move the hips around, push through the arms so that the spine stays long and forward, and then go the other direction. Circle your pelvis. Nice big juicy circles. I don't know about you, but I'm getting nice and warm, hopefully. You are too. Okay, and then we'll pause in our lizard lunge. We're going to do a little kind of funky split to lizard situation here. So if you've got props and you need something under your hands, you can. Otherwise, you can come to fingertips. You're going to bend the back knee like a lunge and then pull your hips back. So if you can see here, my hands are on the inside of the front leg. Pull the hips back so this right leg starts to straighten, but we stay strong in the back knee. And then come back to lizard. So back leg straightens, front knee bends. Lift the chest, inhale. From the hips, drive back, bend the knee and straighten the front leg. Two more, inhale to lizard, strong back thigh. Exhale, hips pull back, elongate through the spine. Last one, forward to lizard and back. I call this like a little runner's split. So if we do it again, it's the runner's split. And then lizard lunge, walk your right hand outside your right foot. So wriggle the right foot between the hands. Warrior two, back heel spins down, lunge into the front leg and then spin the chest towards the side of the mat. So knee and ankle stack. There's a grounding kind of out through the legs, but also this sense of pulling up and in towards the center. So the feet can press down, but also drag the heels together. We'll gaze forward towards front fingertips and just hold here. Two more steady breaths. So find that point of focus. Yeah, we always move, and it's good to move in our practice, but also to find that stillness, to practice being okay in stillness. Last breath in. Hold. And then we'll reverse. So reach the right arm up to go up and back. So open the right side of ribs by closing the left side waist a little bit more. And then cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. We'll step back, high plank. You're always welcome to drop the knees to the floor. So we will chaturanga, elbows pull back, chest forward, and land the chest and pelvis to the floor. Take a cobra pose. So press through feet and thighs, lift the chest. And then exhale, ripple the spine all the way down. Tuck your toes, lift through the abdomen to push up. Downward facing dog. Feet together in down dog, left leg lifts, ball of the foot, push it up and back. Inner thigh wraps to the sky, and then clamp the left heel towards your glute. Circle the knee down and in towards belly button, open it out to the side and then back up. So as you do these circles, we stay in the down dog shape. We keep the frontal ribs pulling into the body and find a push forward and away with your arms. So the chest isn't collapsing. Go the other direction. Really challenging for the core and the upper body. So good for the hip mobility. Beautiful teacher, Amy Carmody. Some of you might know she has taught me lots of these things. So left leg reaches up and back, thanks to her. And then left knee pulls outside the left arm, squeeze it in towards the arm. Three-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, pull, inner thigh, knee up around the left arm. Inhale, three-legged dog. Squeeze, knee, outside arm, hold it there, look at the left hand, and then step outside the left hand. Rearrange the feet as you need to find your lizard, and we'll circle the pelvis. So you notice in different orientations, you'll feel different pulls and tugs across the hips and the outer hip and maybe into the spine. So it's good to move the body in all sorts of directions so we kind of get best access into movement. Okay, we'll find lizard lunge, back thigh strong, pull the chest forward, and then runner's split. So bend the back knee like a lunge, hover it, pull the hips back to straighten the front leg, and then come to lizard, back leg straightens. Inhale, exhale. Good, and you can kind of move your spine with this action. Forward to lizard, exhale, back to the runner's split. 2 more, your timing. And work into those places that you know need a little bit of space and length. Last one to runner's split. Good, hold the lizard, final breath. And then left foot walks back to center, left hand outside the foot, back heel down, warrior 2, open all the way up. So front knee and ankle stack. There's a press of the front knee back behind you. So the inner thigh can spiral open towards the sky. And then we'll pause, 4 breaths. So stillness requires this immediate attention. Requires us to constantly come back, bring ourselves back to stillness. Last inhale. Reverse, sweep up to go up and back. Again, shorten right side waist to open the left side waist. So there's a little crunch through the obliques in the right side. And then cartwheel, hands down to the floor, step back, high plank. This time you're welcome to lower halfway chaturanga. Keep the pelvis off the floor, so legs off, pelvis off, and then roll over the toes to come to upward facing dog. Glutes are strong, upper back pins together, and then downward dog. You can move through knees, pike, or plank. And hold, full deep breath in, and a long steady breath out. Last inhale, and a full breath out. Okay, and then lower your knees down to the floor. So I'm going to use my little props here just to show you as well. And if you've got blocks or books at home, you're welcome to use. But we're going to do a little push press. Now I'm unable to sit all the way back to my heels due to knee. So if you can sit back, sit all the way back, pelvis to heels, and that's totally fine. And you can come from that place every time. If you don't have props, you're going to bring your hands either side of your knees, and I'll show you. So we'll take a breath in, and you'll be sitting down near towards your heels. Breath in, we exhale round the spine. So we're pushing the ground away and opening the upper back. And this might be where you stay. This is fine. Otherwise, you're going to lift up off the shins and think about drawing your knees in towards your chest. And then we'll lower, relax, and shake out the wrists. If you've got the blocks, it's just going to give you a little bit more height and a little bit more access. Okay, so we'll take the hands down by the knees or the blocks. Take a breath in. Start by rounding the upper back. Push the ground away and scoop through the core. Then see if you can lift your knees up in towards your collarbones and your chest, and keep pushing down through the blocks. Scoop through the belly and then release, and then just flip the hands to release the flexion at the wrist. Good, or the extension at the wrist rather. Okay, we'll go again. Take a breath in. Exhale, push, scoop. Maybe the knees lift, maybe they don't. Good. If you don't have the blocks, you can give it a go, but see if you can float your left foot off the floor and then tap it down. Lift your right foot off the floor. Tap it down and then lower. Well done. Turn the palms and give them a little wriggle. Yes, it's a lot more challenging without the blocks. Let's do it all together. Yeah, one more. Hands, it's a little bit unfair, right? Me with the blocks. One hands down either side of the knees. Take a breath in and then exhale, push, scoop. Good. Maybe float right toes. Push, push, push. Lower, maybe float left toes. Push. Good. And then you can lean forward. Think about lifting your feet. They might not lift, but think. And then relax and release the wrists. Woo, so good. Shake out the hands. Okay, and we meet straight back in downward facing dog. Pedal out the legs. If one thing, you've got all this beautiful heat flushing through your body. Okay, legs together, down dog. Come high to toes, right leg lifts up and back. Inhale. Pull right knee forwards, round the spine. So that same action we just did, round the spine. Scoop the thigh into the collarbones and then step the right foot forward. We'll stay on the ball of the back foot, little bend in the back knee to rise the torso up, high lunge. I like to bend the back knee to engage the glute and find a more upright pelvis. And this hopefully will stretch the left hip flexor for you. Arms out wide, we'll cross the left elbow on top. Now, if you're unable to wrap to grab the wrist to bind, you can take a single arm and just hook right elbow over left. Otherwise, wrap both elbows to tuck. We'll take the Gomukhasana bind, so pull the elbows forward and up in line with the shoulders, so that again, we spread through the back body. I want you to send your gaze here, kind of to the crease of the elbows. Dig the front heel down, drag it to the back toes to light up the inner thighs. And now begin to straighten the back leg. So push the back leg away from you, lift up on the breath in, and then exhale, you're going to curl the spine forward, up and in. So round through the upper back and draw the elbows toward the front knee. And then inhale, elbows drive forward and up to lift the chest. Just one more. So exhale, pull forward, up, and then curl elbows down to the knee. And then reach the arms high to the sky. Take a full breath in. And then circle the hands down towards the mat. Good. Pivot the back heel to the floor. We come back into warrior two. So open up the chest all the way. We're going to move into a skater lunge. So what this is you're going to bend the back knee and just watch the back knee as you pull the front toes off the mat. So then back knee lunges kind of out towards the side as we pull the front toes and we get this big inner groin stretch. Left arm can reach up and out. It's almost kind of like a kung fu. Makes me feel like a little kung fu. So we'll call this skater. And then land into the front foot, back into warrior two. So the front arm can sweep to lift all the way back up. And then we'll come back down. So take the back knee to bend, hand down to inside of the front foot. And then this time, keep the hand where it is through the warrior two legs, but we side angle. So hand to inside of foot and top arm will sweep up and overhead. Okay, so this is our flow. The back knee will bend, skater, pull the hips back, front hand stays where it is. Bend the front knee, find the warrior two, but stay low in our side angle. So inner knee and arm connect here. And then last one, back to skater. And then forward to side angle. Good, hold the side angle pose. Front hip wraps back and in. Engage the glute to open the front back left hip. Really stretch through the top arm so the side body is long. One more breath in. Stay for the breath out. Good, we can do it. Imagine pulling the feet together, lift up warrior two and reverse. Big inhale, open through right side body. And then cartwheel hands down to the mat, step back, high plank. Come forward, chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Legs together in down dog, left leg lifts up and back. Pull left knee forward, round the spine, think knee to collarbones. Step the left foot through, little bend in the back knee to lift, all the way up to high lunge. Arms open out wide, right elbow hooks on top of the left. Find your eagle bind, elbows pull out and up in line with the shoulders. Keep the right glute really strong so you open through the front right hip. Breath in to lift up a little, and then breath out, pull out and down, think elbows to tap the knee. Last one, inhale to pull up. Front foot pulls to the back toes to stabilize the inner legs. Come up to high lunge, arms to sky, and then hands circle back down to the floor. Pivot the back heel to the mat, warrior two, open all the way out. So we're going to move straight into this. So bend the back knee, watch the back knee. As you bend it out, the pelvis has to shift back. Front toes will start to pull off the mat, front hand, left hand inside the leg. Skater, take a breath in. Straight into the side angle now that you know the movement in the feet. Hand stays inside the front leg and sweep the right arm up and over your ear. Pull back into skater. Hips back, front toes flex. Side angle, find the warrior two legs, but stay low. Good, let's do two more. So again, you just start to move with your own rhythm, your own timing. Some of us might be a little slower, some of us might be a little quicker. But as long as you're finding that connection with your movement, with your breath, and you can really drop deeper into that sensation. Let's go last skater, if you're there. We'll find side angle pose to hold. So hand to inside of foot, gently press the arm to the inner knee, and then wrap the left hip under, engage the glutes to open the front of the pelvis. Stretch through the top arm, final breath in. And then squeeze your feet together to lift up warrior two, reverse. Inhale, left arm opens. Hands cartwheel to floor. Make your way through to plank, lower chaturanga. Cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a full breath out. Good, last inhale and full exhale. And then start to walk forward to your hands, top of the yoga mat to forward fold. And we'll take a halfway lift, press away from the legs, stretch the spine forward. And then exhale, bow over the thighs. Roll all the way up to stand. First stand, right? Okay, so left leg, big step to the back of the mat. We'll pivot the toes to face the long edge of the mat. So if you need to pivot around so you can still see me, you can just change your orientation, but come to face the side of the room. We're going to start in a horse stance, or you might know this as goddess. So turn the toes out. Main thing is don't try to open the hips with the toes. Yeah, we're opening the hips from the top of the thigh. So keep the toes tracking with the knees. And you just change that angle so that you're working more from the top of the thigh rather than right down at the lower leg. Okay, we'll come into goddess. The pelvis can shift back a little bit so you get a bit of a hinge at the front of the hip so you can get that depth in the legs. And reach the arms all the way out. We'll cross, right elbow on top. Goddess, breath in. Exhale, pull forward, in, and start to round the spine, maybe sink the hips a little deeper. Inhale to lift the spine back upright, keep the knees wide, and exhale, pull everything into center. Last one, inhale, and exhale. So good, come back, inhale, arms out wide, last breath, and then straighten the legs. Woo, okay. Right toes are going to turn to face the front of the mat. Left toes are going to angle slightly forward to the left. Yeah, so you can hopefully see my socks quite well. We're coming into triangle. So little bend in the front knee, hands on hips, and then think about I'm a little teapot action, yeah? So the spine is hinging out and over. The side body is lengthening out and over the front leg. And this bottom hand is going to gently guide the top thigh back in towards the hip. This hip can slightly spin forward so that we can get more hinge and flexion in the front leg. And then bottom hand can reach for the shin, maybe it touches the floor, top arm will reach up and overhead. So we're getting a little bit more length into the inner thigh and groin. And I also love this stretch for the lower back and the QL and the hip here. You're welcome to take the top arm over your ear to extend the shape, but really ground through the back heel and push through the ball of your front foot. Again, just notice what's happening with the front body. Can you soften the ribs? Hold. Last deep breath in. Good, okay, push through the ball of the foot, lift all the way back up, and we come back, legs and toes point the side. You didn't guess it, second side. Everything's in twos in yoga, or twos or threes. Lucky we didn't do like 6 goddess. Okay, left arm on top. Maybe that can be a class, something that's more than 2 or 3 reps. Okay, inhale here. Exhale, curl it in, sink the hips back, open the knees wide. Inhale to open up. Move from the upper back, so feel the back ribs really open as you curl it in. Inhale to lift. And exhale, pull in through center. Okay, inhale to lift. Open arms, stay. Last goddess, big breath in. And then straighten the legs. Okay, left toes will spin to face the back of your mat. And right toes will angle in, yeah? Hands to hips, think like I'm a little teapot. I like to start with a bend. As you lean the left side waist out, use this left hand to plug the thigh bone back in towards the hip. And this top hand can gently help to roll the top hip a little forward. And then you can start to straighten the leg a little mini. And then take your hand maybe to the knee or the ankle and stretch the arm to the sky. So for our triangle, we're looking to get length through the sides of the body. So rather than a side bend where the bottom side waist shortens and the top ribs puff, think about actually cinching the top of your rib cage to your top hip. So think of almost doing a little abdominal oblique crunch through the top side of your spine or the right side of your spine. And the arm can still reach over your head to maintain that length. Glutes are strong. Push through the ball of the front foot so your calf switches on a little bit more. Last full breath. Okay, and then pull the feet together, lift the left arm to lift you back up, and then spin your feet long edge of the mat. Okay, last little pose here, standing, wide-legged forward fold. So hands to hips, push through legs, but also suck up through thighs, and then start to hinge the spine forward. And you can bend your knees a little bit to get a deeper hinge at the hip. You're welcome to take a bind, hands interlace behind your back, and this will open through the front chest and shoulders. Or you can grab hands to outer ankles or shins. I like to grab here and wrap my forearms around the outer shins, and then think of squeezing the outer shin bones in and then pull the center of the chest out and down. So we get this integrity of the thighs kind of plugging up and into the hips. And the spine lengthens away from the pelvis. Let the head go. Last full breath. Okay, and then if you've got a bind, we'll bring hands back under the shoulders, lift the spine up halfway, engage through the legs by pulling the feet together, hands to hips, and then lift the spine all the way up to stand. Just walk your feet together. Nice. Okay, so we're going to do a little fun drill. And then we're going to move into a little arm balance if you're feeling up for it in your body. There'll be something for everybody. So our little drill is going to be from down dog. If you want to have a look, you're more than welcome, you can. Otherwise, it's going to be downward facing dog. We'll start by just stepping right foot, left foot, and coming into the depth of your squat. And then we'll step back, downward facing dog. Yeah, and then you can keep stepping left, right, into squat, step back, step back. Otherwise, you're going to jump. The hands will be a little closer together. You'll lift high, bend the knees, and then you're going to think about jumping your feet past your hands. Yeah, and then you'll step back, back, downward dog. So we'll all come to downward facing dog. I'm going to go straight into the jumps. If you want to try one round of stepping, go for it. So it'll be step, step outside the hands, or come high to tippy toes. Bend the knees, look at the hands, and think about jumping past the hands. So lift, push, and then jump through. Good, and then just step back, walk, walk. We'll do a couple like that. So the aim is to get past the hands, either by stepping or by hopping through, like a little frog hop. And we'll do two more. So we're getting the arms to come to the inside of the legs as we hop past or as we step past. Last one. And then step back to downward facing dog. Okay, so we'll meet top of the yoga mat. And again, this is where blocks can come in handy, or books. So we're going to come into a little shoulder pressing pose. So at the top of your yoga mat, I'll get you to take your feet quite wide apart. You're going to take a forward fold so that the body comes towards the insides of the legs. And you can stay in this forward fold. Notice my knees are a little bent. They're not straight, so I can get my body toward the inside of the legs. You're welcome to stay in forward fold, or you're going to take your right hand to grab behind the back of your right ankle so that you can snug your right shoulder behind the leg. Yeah, and then you're going to take your left hand to the back of the left ankle and see if you can snug your left shoulder behind the back of the leg. So you just work where you need to work, and when your body doesn't go any further, you just stay there. Then if you've got the props, it's much easier to bring the books or blocks behind the back of the leg, and then your fingers are going to come down onto the floor or the block. So the fingers are pointing in the same direction as your feet. So that then when you bend your elbows, you sit on your arms like a little ledge here. Yeah, so I've done it facing the side. I'm going to do it facing so you can see this side. So we'll snug under. That's step one, to see if you can get your shoulders behind the back of the knees. And then step two, hands on blocks, fingers point same direction as toes. So the hands actually come behind the feet. If you don't have the blocks, you can still give it a go. It just requires you to drop a little bit further down. Yeah, the blocks don't require you to have as much kind of deep hip opening. And then we push and we try to scoop up through the center of the belly. Good, that might be where you stay. Otherwise, you start to walk your feet together and maybe you hook your ankles. Whoop, and then you probably fall down and you get up and you try again. So this is shoulder pushing pose, Bhujangasana. So blocks makes it a little more accessible to kind of find that height. Otherwise, stay in the forward fold for me for a moment and just work to get the shoulders under the knees. Once you've got this and you can push down, squeeze and lift, you can either hook the feet or squeeze in around the upper arms and maybe play with straightening the legs out. Titivasana, firefly pose. Otherwise, push, scoop, and maybe hook the feet. You've got to squeeze in around your arms to do this. And then release, and we'll come through forward fold. I'll ask you how you went at the end of class. Well done. It's really challenging. If we've never done that before, don't worry. I've recorded the video. You can try this class again and again and again and give it another go. Okay, let's let that go. So I'm going to get us to come all the way down onto the hands and the knees. Let's open up the chest. We've only got a couple of minutes, but let's just open up the chest so that we relieve the pecs. So cactus the elbows flat to the floor and then turn to look to the right hand. Right hand will lift up so you can roll back towards the left, and you can bend the knees in front of the body or just take the right leg behind you wherever it feels comfortable. Lengthen the lower back. And take a couple of big breaths here. Softening here a little bit more. And then we'll come back, roll through center, bring both elbows back down, find that cactus, and then look to the left so you can pick up the left leg and roll back. Again, the knees can stack. Let the head be heavy. One more breath in here. And then you can slowly come back onto the body, and then we'll roll over onto the back. We'll take just one bridge. So press down through the feet, lift the hips, take the arms underneath to clasp, and then just pin the shoulders under the body. Squeeze the shoulder blades so you open through the front of the chest and the shoulder here. The hips don't have to lift too high, they can just be low. Focus more on the chest and the shoulders opening. Last breath. Release your arms out from underneath. Slowly roll down through your spine. And then just take your feet wide. Let your knees just drop from side to side. So little gentle twists. You might get a couple of clicks and cracks. And then we'll come into just a moment of Shavasana. So legs long. If that's not comfortable, take another shape that feels more comfortable in your body to rest. You're welcome to place the hands on the belly to feel the belly breathing, or the arms wide. Close the eyes. Feel all that warmth and energy kind of buzzing through the body. You're just watching and allowing your body to slowly return to a really calm, steady place. And you're welcome to stay longer in Shavasana. You can just stay as you are. You can just shut the computer. Otherwise, gently wriggle fingers and toes. Take a yawn or a stretch. And then just bend the knees, roll the body to one side. Come up to sit. Eyes can stay closed just for one final moment. So sometimes I know personally place a lot of expectation on myself to achieve great big things. And actually in doing that, I don't really achieve anything at all, or there's a dissatisfaction with that. And if I start to do little things, little daily things, whether it's my yoga practice, 20-minute walk, reading just 3 pages of my novel, yeah, I feel more satisfied by achieving these daily little mini successes than always feeling this deep expectation that I have to do great big things. So maybe today, whether it was your yoga practice and you achieved even just waking up, rolling out your mat, whether it was a feeling of connection into your core that you hadn't experienced. Yeah, can you carry this kind of quality or this trajectory out into your day so that we can feel this satisfaction from the small things? Take a final big breath in and out. Namaste.